If you think having haters is a sign that you're doing something wrong, it's actually a sign that you're doing something right. There is this book called The Courage to Be Disliked. And in this book, they talk about a bunch of things, but basically, when you are your authentic self and your genuine self, odds are a lot of people are not going to like you. But what does it do? It filters out those people that you actually don't want. Your aim shouldn't be to be liked by as many people as possible. Your aim should actually be to be liked by as few people as possible, but those people actually genuinely like who you are. Like they are going to be your ride or dies. Having haters is probably a sign that you're doing something right, and it can also be to your benefit. Look at Donald Trump. He's one of the most hated people in the world. But the more people hate him, the more his fans will be loyal to him. The more people want to kill him, the more his fans are willing to die for him. So lately I've been posting a lot on TikTok in my native language. And so naturally my hometown friends, they all have seen my posts. And there was this one girl who commented on my video and she was like, that's enough, like you should stop now. And that was really weird to me because I was like, well, maybe she's joking, but that's kind of a weird joke to say. Like I would never joke negatively about someone like that. And honestly, it doesn't surprise me that she would comment this because she's quite like an insecure person and negative and always hating on other people. But even saying it to my face is crazy to me. But then at the same time, I'm like, if I have haters, it's probably a sign that I'm doing something right. Because you get to choose if you listen to the haters and you please them, but then you're not going to please yourself. If you're going to live your whole life in the shadows and never outshine anybody, then nobody's going to hate you. But your life isn't going to be the most fun either. Like you are not going to unlock your highest potential by listening to the haters. Something that can really help with learning how to not listen to the haters is actually to stop listening to their praise. Because what did they say? The same rope they use you to pull you up will be the same rope that they use to hang you. And this is so true because I remember when I started my entrepreneurship journey, like when I started basically going on an alternative path to a lot of people in my surrounding. And people were kind of like, what the fuck are you doing? In that moment, I really needed certain people to support me. Like my sister, for example. She always supported me. She always believed in me. And she always really encouraged me and strengthened me. And in this moment when I needed her the most, when everybody was like, what the fuck are you doing? She also criticized me and basically said that what I want from life is too big and it's too very, very difficult to achieve it and only certain people can achieve it. I know that not to be true right now. But what I learned from that experience was that if you're dependent on other people for their praise, when they criticize you, you'll also take it to heart. Never ever take people's praise or compliments to heart. Like, don't let it get to your head. Because when those same people will criticize you, it will also get to you. Just observe what they're saying. Just observe whether they're encouraging you or not. Because then you know once you've made it that, okay, I remember that this person believed in me from the start. Not that I actually needed them to believe in me because it all came from inside of myself, but because now that I'm up, I remember that you didn't believe in me. Or now that I'm up, I remember that you always believed in me from the start. This goes for everything, like about your own beauty, about your health. You need to try to internalize your power with everything in life. And you don't internalize your power when you need other people to encourage you to believe in yourself. You need to always believe in yourself regardless of what other people think of you. People might think you will fail, but that doesn't matter. That shouldn't matter to you. People might think that you will succeed, but that shouldn't matter to you either. My mom, she encourages me a lot. She's like, Samira, I really believe in you. Like, I really see how strong you are, and I'm certain that you'll get to your goals. And I really appreciate her saying that, but it doesn't affect me emotionally, even if I would want it to. Like, even if it will feel nice to be happy because my mom's supporting me, it does not move me, because what if she was saying the opposite? I cannot emotionally be dependent on other people seeing my strength, or other people believing in me, or other people thinking I'm beautiful. It all comes from within you. You need to internalize your power. And about hometown haters, expect them to hate you. Expect a lot of people from your hometown to hate you. I saw this girl on TikTok who was like, your biggest fan will be someone who doesn't know you, and your biggest hater will be someone who's known you since childhood. Why? Because they see that you two came from the same circumstances and you managed to create something out of yourself and they didn't. They see you succeeding and they have no excuse as to why they cannot be succeeding. Because when they see these people who are successful, or whatever it is that they want to be, successful in whatever field that they want to be, if it's just that they want a family, if it's just that they want a good relationship, if it's that they want to be rich, if it's that they want to be an influencer, whatever it is that they want, when they see that someone else has what they want, they always try to make excuses in their head as to why they can't have that. Oh, but if I was born in LA, I would also be able to be rich easily. Oh, but if my parents were rich, I would have my dream body too, because I would afford to go to the gym, get a personal trainer, eat healthy. Like, they will always be able to find an excuse for someone who doesn't come from the same circumstance as they do. But when they see that you're from the same hometown as them, you have the same friends as them, you're in the same friend group, you grew up in the same environment, there's no one for them to blame anymore. It's really a reminder that they could do whatever they wanted to if they really tried, but they don't. And they will always try to blame outside circumstances. But when you did it and you've been with them since childhood, that means that they could also do it, but they're not doing it. Something is stopping them. Everybody else is a mirror into you. What you see in others is really a reflection of you. That's why people who have a lot of love for themselves also love other people. Like, do you ever see like a really, really pretty girl who really loves herself and has a good life? Do you see her hating on other girls? No, you don't. Do you ever see a content creator hating on somebody who just started? No. I go to the gym every day, almost. And if I see someone who's a beginner, I would never ever hate on that person. I would just be like, okay, I see that you don't really know what you're doing, but it's great that you're here. And this is the beginning of a great journey for you. People never kick downwards. Like, they will not hate on somebody who's doing less than them, because that doesn't make them feel uncomfortable with themselves. Every time somebody hates you for something, or dislikes you, or judges you for something, it's because obviously it makes them feel something on the inside. And why? If you're doing good and somebody is hating on you for doing good, or if you're going your own path and somebody's hating on you for going their own path, it's because you're reminding them of the fact that they could also be doing that, but they don't. They don't believe in themselves enough to do it. So if you have hometown haters, it might just be a sign that you're doing something good. Say, for example, you have two fat best friends, and one of the best friends is going to lose weight. Well, both of them have struggled their whole lives with their weight, and both of them feel insecure about it. Suddenly, the one friend does something about it and succeeds. Well, obviously, the friend that's still fat is going to feel bad about themselves, because they're like, fuck, that means I could probably do it. Because in your mind, you're always making excuses of why you can't do it and somebody else can. But when someone who has the same circumstance as you do, they succeed, that means you also could succeed, but you're not succeeding. You're procrastinating. You're wasting your time. You're wasting your life and energy. You're scared of other people's judgment. You're allowing your life to pass by and your problems to stay the same. Every single day you let them stay the same. And when you see other people who don't, it makes you feel some type of way. In my world, there's literally no dream that's big enough for you not to be able to materialize. Everything is possible. And when I see people doing amazing and huge things, whatever it is, like getting into a nice relationship, like getting rich or becoming an influencer, whatever it is that I see people doing and succeeding, I'm just happy that there is someone who knows that the sky is the limit. But other people will see you doing good and they'll be like, well, why the fuck do you think you're better than us? They will find any reason that they can to hate on you. But the truth is that someone who believes themselves that whatever I want, I can have, whatever I need, whatever I dream of, I can make it come true. They will never ever hate on another person for making their dream come true. In fact, they will get inspired by that person. They'll be like, holy fuck, so it's really true. What I believe about the world, that anyone who wants something from life can have it, is really true. Every single time I see someone who's succeeding, that's just more evidence for me that I also can make my dreams come true. But these miserable people, all they see is that you're getting ahead in life. You're every day making your life get better and better. And what are they doing? They're staying the same. They have the same problems. They are not succeeding at anything that they want to succeed at in life. So, well, no shit that they're miserable. Misery loves company. They want you to be miserable too. That's why they hate commenting on your videos. That's why they want you to bring you down, because they don't want to be left there alone in their misery. And they also see that you're shooting for the stars, and they see something in you. This is the problem, that they see something in you. They see your strength. That's why they're hating on you, because if you succeed, that's gonna make them even more lonely. Your hometown haters, they will hate you so much because when they see you succeed, they know yet another person is gonna leave my life because I'm miserable and nobody wants to be with me. So my life is just getting worse and worse by the second. They want you to stay there with them. I saw this video of a guy on YouTube. His name is Nero Knowledge and I love him. He was saying, imagine that feeling when you walk out of a test in school and you know that you're gonna fail that test. Like, you know that you did so bad on that test. Your friend walks out. What do you hope they're gonna say? Fuck, that test went so bad. I think I'm gonna fail. You hope that they're gonna fail with you, right? And imagine you walk out of the test that you think you're gonna fail, and your friend, instead of saying they fail, is gonna be like, oh my God, that test was so easy. Oh my God, I'm gonna get an A. I can't believe how easy it was. Like, I did so well. I knew all the answers to all the questions. Well, no shit, you're gonna feel worse about yourself because their success is reminding you of your misery, and it's creating an even bigger gap between your misery and their success. You don't want your friends to succeed more than you do because that means you're less successful than them, right? That means you're doing something wrong. But when you change your mindset to the fact that if my friend succeeds, that means that I can succeed too. If my friend is doing well, that means I can do well too. If my friend is making money, that means I can make money too. If my friend got in shape, that means I can do it too. That means my friend can teach me how to do it. Do you know how valuable that is? No, you don't. Like, you see these people, is that the problem is that they don't understand that this is the mechanism in their head. They just feel hatred for some reason. I don't know what the fuck the reason is, but they just think she's cringy or she changed or whatever it is that they think. They're just making it worse for themselves every single day. When in reality, when your friends succeed, when you have someone from your hometown who succeeded, that's good for you. Being close to that person takes you closer to success too. They have something to teach you. But these people, they don't want to learn anymore. They just want to be stuck where they are, be in their misery, and have company. They don't want to be alone because obviously, as humans, we never want to be alone. So we want someone who's as miserable as we are. I was at a friend's house like a month ago at a birthday party. Two people there were talking about like their toxic relationships, like their exes. Both of them were really like blaming the guy and being like, he was so toxic, he was so bad, like he was this and that and blah, blah, blah. And I was like, well, why didn't you leave him then? They had these excuses and Listen, I have a lot of empathy for women who are in toxic relationships, who are in abusive relationships. I grew up watching it firsthand, and it's terrible. Like, it really sucks. It really makes me upset. But at some point, you also need to take accountability. At some point, you also need to realize that you are part of the problem. It takes two to tango. It's not only him that is the problem. It never is. You really need to take accountability for your problems. Like, they start creating this identity about being miserable, about how they were abused, and that should not be your identity. Never. It should make you stronger. Like, look at you, you're still here. You went through an abusive relationship and you made it out, and now you're here and you're stronger than ever, and you're never ever going to get into an abusive relationship again. That can be your identity. But your identity is that you were a victim, your identity is that you were abused. Oh no, like, you're gonna stay abused, you're gonna stay a victim, because that's not your identity. Really, you need to take accountability for your own part in the problem. But what these girls are doing is that, like, they've watched some videos on like YouTube or whatever, and they're saying he gaslit me, he manipulated me. Like, they know these big words to explain what happened to them, but they're not doing anything about like their part. Like, you know what he did to you, but what did you do for him to treat you like that? What did you do to accept someone treating you like that? How little do you love yourself to be able to stay with someone like that for a long time? And you know what? They really said, like, you don't know what it's like being abused, where you get manipulated, you feel like you have to stay. And honestly, first of all, these people don't know me that well, that they know my history, like, in relationships. How could you say that? Like, you don't know anything about my story, you don't know anything about my life. When you come, like myself, come from a Middle Eastern background, I've watched so many women in my life suffer and be abused. And I see these women in Iran, which is my mother's home country. These women have absolutely no money. The government does everything they can to stop them from getting a divorce. They get married when they're 18. Like, literally, my grandma, she was in an arranged marriage when she was 13. My grandpa was 30 years old. Literally tried to unalive her multiple times. She was so abused, like, and she had absolutely no money, no education. She couldn't read. She could not get a job. There was nothing that she could do to leave him. She had nobody in the country because she immigrated from Afghanistan to Iran. She only had my grandfather. And what did he do? He abused her. She had no way to leave him. You know, in that situation, I'm like, yeah, she couldn't leave him. She couldn't leave him. How could she leave him? She cannot get a divorce. And if she doesn't get a divorce, she's going to be homeless in the street with nobody. To me, that's when you don't have a choice. When you live in a country like the country that I live in, where women have the same education as men, you can have a job as easily as a man can. Most of us have like a place to crash. The government is not going to stop you if you want to leave a man who's abusing you. In fact, they're gonna help you leave him. There are resources here. You have rights. Like, how can you say I didn't have a choice? This is the problem with miserable people, is that they do not see solutions. They only see problems. Like, they are saying to me, like, oh, but you don't know what it feels like. You don't have a choice. Like, yes, you do. You have a choice. You cannot say in a country like the country we live in that you don't have a choice. And I'm not saying it's not difficult. I'm not saying that. I'm not trying to take away from their pain, because really, like, I understand that manipulation is like, it's a big deal. Like, it's not like you're consciously like, ooh, I'm fine with being manipulated. I'm just gonna stay, like, it's really nice here. Like, obviously I get it, but don't come with excuses. You need to take accountability for your part, because the problem is that you cannot avoid these toxic men. These toxic men, they're gonna pop out everywhere. They're gonna find you if you are the person who allows them into your life. So you need to take the power into your own hands, because you cannot be blaming these external factors all the time. If you were a woman in the fucking 50s in Afghanistan and you were 13 years old and your parents said you have to marry this 30-year-old guy who's gonna sexually abuse you and physically abuse you, and if you leave him, you're gonna be homeless and nobody's gonna take care of you. And you're probably gonna be unalived if you try to leave him. Okay, now you tell me I don't have a choice. Okay, yeah, actually I get it. Like, I'm not gonna say anything. But when you are in my age, you're my age, this guy never physically abused you. How can you say you don't have a choice? If there is no threat to your life, how can you say you don't have a choice? There will always be an excuse to find. And I'm not saying this out of a place of hatred. Like, I'm getting heated, but I'm really trying to encourage you to take power of your own life. You really need to take accountability of what is my part in the problem, because as I said, it takes two to tango. Every problem that you have in your life, well, part of the equation is that you are part of the problem, right? If people are hating on you, it has nothing to do with you. It has more to do with them. They have an internal problem that they're not dealing with. They see you thriving, they see you doing good. It means that they probably could do it too, but they don't want to face that. So instead, they try to stop you from thriving. They try to stop you from succeeding instead of focusing on themselves, instead of focusing on their own problems. And that's everything I have to say for this video.